Hey everybody, it's Monday evening, weather for Weather Geeks time here on the 29th day of April 2019, almost May. And April's been a warm one so far. It's been fairly wet as well, and today was another day when we had some rain to deal with. But before the rain came in, of course, it was a cold start to the day. These are some approximate low temperatures. I grabbed the temperatures from 3 a.m. That was about when most places saw their lowest temperature this morning. Then the clouds rolled in and temperatures slowly started to rise. But we did have some 30s and 31s and 32s out there this morning. Didn't see a lot of evidence of any sort of a heavy frost, though, as a result of it being kind of a short night for temperatures to fall before they started rising again with the clouds rolling in. I think that helped prevent some of the frost, and I do think the wind tried to kick up a little bit as we got into the very early morning hours as well. 32 at the airport was the official number today, so technically now the growing season has yet to begin, but if this is our last 32, then much like last year, our growing season will begin on April 30th. It happened last year. Our last 32 last year was on today's date, and then April 30th began the growing season in 2018. The 30-year average is still yet to come, though. It's actually May 7th. The growing season beginning about a week before then, of course, is not unheard of, but a little bit unusual. There's a pretty big variety here. You go back to 2013, it was May 25th, and then some years it was quite early. In the last 10 years, we haven't had a real super early start to the growing season, but if you go back before the previous 10 years, you'll find some earlier dates in early to mid-April that stand out. All right, this evening as of 7:12. We have some rain pushing across the area. There's been no thunder, no lightning as of yet, and I really have my doubts that we're going to hear much thunder or see much lightning this evening. I can't rule it out, though. The atmosphere is kind of conditionally unstable this evening. What I mean by that is it's a little bit unstable. If any of these clouds manage to get high enough in the sky, they could start producing some lightning and bring down a little bit of wind. But, the severe weather threat does not look like it's likely to materialize this evening. The Storm Prediction Center has maintained a low-end risk of severe weather in northern Ohio since early on today. It just looks like the ingredients aren't going to come together for any sort of pronounced severe weather episode. I can't rule out still a thunderstorm in a few spots, but I doubt it's anything to write home about. Rainfall totals with our late afternoon and early evening rain have also been nothing to write home about. Generally, a few hundredths of an inch has been pretty common. Now, we're going to have a soggy evening, but the raindrops are going to push away by midnight or so at the latest, and then I think we're dry for the rest of the night tonight, and you will not need the wet weather gear as you head off to work and school on Tuesday morning. All right, Tuesday's going to be a little bit cooler than today. In the wake of this relatively weak front, it's going to kind of look like it wants to rain. I think it'll be a pretty cloudy day. And maybe there's a shower in spots in the afternoon, but that should be about it. Largely uneventful day. We'll just struggle to get up to about 60, which, at this time of the year is a handful of degrees cooler than average. All right, Wednesday is the day we have to look forward to. Boy, has the forecast changed since I last worked on Friday. It seems obvious now that this front is going to lift far enough to the north that we'll get into the warm sector easily on Wednesday, allowing temperatures to really, really take off. And I don't think there's much rain this day either. Maybe there's a passing shower or storm in the afternoon, but there's really not much of a trigger for any shower and thunderstorm activity Wednesday as long as that front clears us far enough to the north, which seems fairly likely. But passing shower or two, thunderstorm, that's going to be a possibility. I think the chances of rain higher on Thursday, and that elevated chance will continue into the day Friday. Now, we have not hit 80 yet this year, but most of our modeling is showing we've got a good chance of hitting 80 on Wednesday. If we stay dry, it's almost a no-brainer that we'll hit 80. If we don't hit 80, it's probably because it rained at the wrong time of day on Wednesday. But I think we've got a pretty good shot at hitting 80 for the first time this year, and it's late in the season to not have hit 80 degrees yet. In fact, it's been at least 10 years since it's been this late. Our 30-year average first 80-degree temperature at the Youngstown Warren Airport is April 22nd. You can look at this list over the last 10 years, and the latest was in 2009, April 24th. So, pretty late in the year, especially compared to the last 10 years or so. All right, I want to talk about the medium range and the long range a bit this evening. If it's springtime, a lot of people have outdoor plans on a weekend. It's prom season and lots of other things going on outdoors for the weekend. Let's take a look at the European model here for the end of the week. Pretty unsettled end of the week. I think a front will kind of lollygag around Thursday and into Friday, leading to a few waves of showers and some thunderstorms. Now, what happens to this front over the weekend will be the key to figuring out our forecast. The European model would suggest that it kind of stalls still on Saturday, leading to another risk of showers and thunderstorms. Some of the other modeling, including the GFS, is a little bit drier with the look on Saturday. So I'm going to have to carry a chance of a shower and thunderstorm on Saturday, although I don't think at this point it's a particularly wet day. Now, as we head into the day on Sunday, this is probably at this point the better half of the weekend. Again, the European's a little bit dragging its feet with the front, still kind of hanging it up down here, putting it dangerously close to our area, making it so maybe I have to allow for something. But I do have a dry forecast right now for Sunday. The GFS is bone dry and sunny on Sunday. So, even though the Euro's a little more sluggish with things here, right now I think Sunday looks pretty good. There's some challenges, forecast challenges in the longer range for sure, and that's nothing unusual for the transition season, both spring and fall. Long range forecasting's tough business because there's a variety of air masses around North America in the transition seasons. You still have winter's cold hanging on to some places, and then you have that strong sun angle, and it's basically summer at this point in the deep south. So you have these battles of the seasons and fronts set up, and it's a huge difference on either side of fronts. And models have a hard time resolving that in the longer range. And so you're going to see that this evening. I'm going to show you the comparison between the GFS and the European ensemble modeling as we get into the first couple of weeks of May. First off, the GFS here has hardly any intrusions of chilly air through the first half of May. Look at this, just red and orange, red and orange, red and orange. That's the GFS. The European is almost exactly the opposite, especially as we get past like the third or fourth day of May. You'll notice that it has hardly any consistent warmth. It has cool anomalies centered over the U.S.-Canadian border, but bleeding down into Ohio and PA all the way through the first 10 days of May and actually through the first couple of weeks of May. So, it's really a stark contrast. Just for example, if you take just one day, here's Saturday the 11th, the GFS, the Euro. What are you supposed to do with that? That's what makes things very tricky in the longer range, especially in the heart of spring and the heart of the fall season. So I don't have a great deal of confidence in the overall trends yet during the first half of May. Now, that being said, we're still going to do a May forecast coming up in a couple of days. I'll take my best shot at what May has in store. Right now, I don't think odds favor it being anywhere near as hot as last May was, but I'm not convinced that it's nearly as chilly as that run of the European would suggest at this point. All right, that's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Check out my full forecast tonight on 21 News the 11. I'll let you know if we had any bumpy weather throughout the course of the evening, and I'll have a fresh edition of this video, same time, same place, on Tuesday.